then finally, this one, which is really interesting. I love what you did. I love all of that. What I want to do actually is just make it a little bit more ghoulish and use some color codes to show how this may be a rotting corpse. I'm going to use some green on the cuticle here just to make it feel like it's a rotting kind of corpse, maybe a witch that dresses herself up to look pretty or uses filters, or it's a comment on all the people and how they depend on filters to feel pretty, and you know, how it just makes people more shallow and more witch-like. So it's a really, really cool concept. I love this piece. And I'm just throwing in some purple, some unusual colors that we don't usually see in skin, maybe on sicker people, on discoloration, just so that'll help a little bit. And then of course the black, you want to bring in some of that black where we have it eclipsed here. Now what I wanted to add in, one of the only things I wanted to add in on this piece is, I'm going to be really mean and look up ugly face, which should result in some really weird images. And I want to just choose something that looks very ghoulish. Perfect. I'll use Trump's face. But I'm not trying to look for people who are deformed. It's not what I'm not mocking them, but I am trying to look for like a monster like this one or something like that. Open a new tab. And what I want to do is mess around with the reflection on the phone screen. Yes. So what I want to do is show how it looks a little bit distorted, so the person is looking down at the front camera, and I want to mess with the transparency so we could see her face in there. You know, she's holding her phone, but she's also lying about, you know, how she looks. And then I want to boost the levels so that we could see a bit more of the character through the screen. And it just looks like she's holding it. So that's what was missing. It just looked like a pretty girl on a phone. But the idea is that when the more your viewer looks at the screen, the more they're like, oh my God, there's something reflected in the screen. And you know, that's where you get those amazing narrative pieces in portfolios, is when people are looking and they're like, hey, wait a second, there's more to this piece. So I'm gonna just leave some of that still in there, and I'm gonna try to delete where we have issues with overlap here, because we don't really need the lower part. This is a really cool idea to try to get more involved in the illustration than meets the eye. And I feel like we lost a little bit of the reflection up here. So we don't want to give away too much because we still want it to be something the viewer has to work to see, but it's still enough that it really does make an impact. And so what I want to do is show how that reflection is running across the screen, and show how it's a bit of a reflection on the black part of the screen. So I might have to darken the painting underneath a little bit just to show how it's a reflection here. And then just lowering the opacity until I'm 100% sure that it's just enough that the viewer will see it, but not too much that they'll see it too soon. And then filter and blur, Gaussian blur that. Just so, you know, if it's, oh my gosh, this is perfect, because now it's just too blurred for us to know exactly what we're looking at. But we know that the person holding the phone looks nothing like the filter. And I'm just going to merge it down. So that's all that was missing. I feel like this is really feels complete. The edge here got a little bit blurred, so it's not going to feel like the real mechanical edge. Oops. I want to cut it before the edge of the phone just to show how the glass, you know, cuts out before the edge of the phone, like it does, just like that.